Hey everybody, Cptn.Canuck here, and I wanted to talk today about Nouns versus Tundra in the seeding decider of TI-12. Now, this was an interesting one. Valve kind of changed up the format for the tournament a little bit, and there was this weird seeding decider where a team that kind of came lower in their groups could basically challenge a team that came at the top of their group for their upper bracket spot. So, Tundra actually topped out their groups going 7-1 in their group stage games. Nouns only went 3-5, and Tundra actually chose to play against Nouns in this single best of 3 that would then decide who got to go upper bracket and who got to go lower bracket. So really interesting and a lot on the line in this best of 3. Now, Nouns arrived to the series with some really cool tech that I don't think they did before or after this. They come into game 1, and after they've seen the first 4 picks for Tundra here, they see an Earth Spirit, they see a Phoenix, they see a Sven, they see a Doom, and they decide that they're going to run a Witch Doctor offlane. Now, I don't know who in the room said this. I don't know where they had done this. Like, I struggled. I was looking through their series on Dota Buff. I couldn't find anywhere where they had done this before. Maybe it was a thing. Maybe I missed it. But you can let me know down below if that's the case. But they just come up with this idea that they're going to do it, and it absolutely works. You know, it's really thinking outside of the box. When you see this in game, like, the game starts kind of boring, and it kind of just looks like, okay, any hero versus any hero in lane. But as the game starts to progress, you really see the strength of this pick come out. This Witch Doctor is absolutely shredding heroes. With the new pure damage on the Death Ward, the other team is relying a lot on that Warcry of Sven to allow them to fight, and it just shreds right through that. Not to mention you have Maledict as well to just amplify the damage even more and more and more. So throughout this game, Moo just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and he contributes so much damage that at the end he is just ripping through the Sven, and finally in the last fight of the game he gets this big crazy Ags ultimate, kills 4 heroes by himself. It could have been a full team wipe for one hero, but Gunnar has to go in there and be the greedy bastard he is and take a kill for himself. But this was absolutely brilliant, and I think this was a big part of what helped Nouns take this series and jump them up to the upper bracket, which, you know, they ended up losing to Azure Ray, they dropped down, but they still won another series out of it, and they probably ended up a few $100,000 richer than they would have been otherwise had they stuck in what would have been a lower bracket spot at any other year's TI. Just really cool, interesting stuff. I love when teams kind of come up with these things that are a little outside the meta. They use a hero in a way that hasn't really been seen before. I know there was some teams tinkering with the core Witch Doctor and stuff, especially when he first got changed and Voodoo Switcheroo got added and stuff, but it was just so cool to see them break this out at the main stage TI, and nobody else there was trying it, you know? And I think this sort of thing is really what makes a good TI team. When you can show up with something that nobody else has really messed around with. This is, when OG showed up playing IO carry, and everyone was like, what the hell is this? This is nuts, and they tried to emulate it, and they couldn't because OG had practiced it. They knew what was going on. They scrimmed with it. They knew the timings, all that sort of stuff. I think you saw that a little bit at this tournament with Core Willow. LGD pulled that out, and then a bunch of teams tried to emulate it as well, but they just couldn't quite do it as well as they could. And this felt like something that Nouns could have kind of latched onto. But the weird thing is they just didn't ever do it again. In the 6 games that they played after the 7 games that they played after this one, they never drafted the Witch Doctor again. And, you know, maybe the draft didn't really call for it, maybe it wasn't the right moment, but it was just something that stood out to me as like a moment where, hey, maybe they cracked something here. Maybe they found a way to answer this stupid tanky meta. You know, the Death Ward is the one doing the damage, so the Blade Mail damage doesn't get reflected, so maybe this is a good way to deal with those Kunkas and those Earth Spirits and those Earth Shakers and all that stuff. I don't know. I think it was just super cool. Let me know what you think of it down below. This Witch Doctor really blew my mind. I thought it was awesome. I thought this Nouns roster had a lot of potential here, but they just kind of missed the mark. Unfortunately, the roster's already separated, but the new roster with Gunnar, Fly, Lelis is already looking really good. They've got Stormstormer and Yuma standing in for them at the ESL qualifiers right now. Excited to see what comes out to round out that 5-stack. But, yeah, super interesting game here. I think this really was a big part of their run and a big part of their story this year at TI. Let me know what you think down below. Was Witch Doctor kind of secretly underrated? Should he have been in more games? Or was this kind of just a flash in the pan, just a one-off type of thing that they threw out there? As always, you guys are beautiful. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again next time.